Hi, everybody. My name is Sarah, Pearls of Wisdom and Food with Keto, under 20 total carbs. I guess that's the most important thing I can say today. Under 20 total carbs. It just works. And in my world, veggies have carbs. And so I can't be a crazy Dr. Berg 10 cups of leafy greens per day person and think that it will all work for me. No, not anymore. It did for a while, or maybe I was just deluding myself. But yeah, I count I count those carbs, and so I have my small little baby butter and radicchio organic Trader Joe's lettuce as my veggie for Monday through Friday. I have 85 grams of it. I add good culture cottage cheese. I add melted fourth and heart pink Himalayan ghee with macadamia nut oil in my tiny little teacup on top of the toaster oven. And then I pour it over it, and it is divine. But today I'm having something different. I'm beginning with my 85 grams of the lettuce. And then I'm having 5 ounces of a chuck roast that I made. I'm going to saute it in a little bit of coconut oil, I think, just to soften it up. And then I'm having, instead of sour cream, because I've got a lot of, I have a lot of good culture cottage cheese that I want to get to because of the use by date. And so I'm going to be having that. I think it's 40 or 50 grams. And then I'm having the Sabra guac medallion. And so it's my very different version of a taco salad for sure. And that's it. So I substitute the cottage cheese for the sour cream, and I don't have anything red in it. No salsa or anything like that. So it's pretty basic. And then I have today I have a tablespoon of macadamia nut oil and a tablespoon of fourth and heart ghee melted into the macadamia nut oil, and I will pour that over the mixture, and I will enjoy that, probably with my guilty pleasure TV. Greg is going to be eating with his 5 siblings, so he's out of town. So I get a guilty pleasure and a taco salad kind of day. I'm looking forward to it. So my macros are high because of the guac, and so I wish it wasn't that way with avocados and guacamole. My calories are 1,277. My protein is 44.8. Carbs 9.4. Fats 118.4. And the only reason I do this is not so that you have to do it, have to copy me, have to be like me. It just gives you the guide that I use day after day after day, and what works for me in my food plan. I do have 2 fatty coffees during my 24 hours, my 23 hours without eating. And into those I put 25 grams of heavy whipping cream, Organic Valley, that says 0 carbs on the container. It also says 0 carbs when I put it into my chronometer. And 7 grams of fourth and heart ghee. Now, what am I doing with all my Kerrygold butter? I don't know. I've still got it. I just haven't been using it, but I guess I will use it because I do put, I'll mix it with the Amish butter that we have, and sometimes I add a pat of butter to my protein or plate just for some wet, don't you know? So, anyway, in my continuing series of just preparing you for the people pushers, the old standards and favorites and traditions and things you hadn't even thought of that are starting to roll in now as we get into the season. And it's not just a day, you know that. And so yesterday, I started wrapping things, and just to get kind of a heads up on where I am with what I have, and keeping a little notepad of things that I need to purchase to, you know how you have to even everything out. Oh, yeah, that's what happens when you're the mother of, right? Or the grandmother of. Everybody has to have equal, even though they don't cost like that. And so anyway, I was doing that, and I was listening to a podcast from somebody that's big in the keto world, and and um, and he was talking about cheating, and people were, it was a live one. I didn't watch it live, but I watched it recorded, and people were piping in about, what happened to that little cheat meal, cheat item, feeling they deserved dessert. There's so many different ways of looking at cheating. To me, it would be a total derail. Um, as I've said, if I had something, in my cheat world, it would be a sweet potato or a baked potato. That's how far away my sugar and carb cravings have gone. Just a high starchy veggie. But people were talking about going going to treat themselves to something because they felt they deserved it, and they lost weight, and it was going to be there, um, and what happened. And a lot of people can have an incredible reaction to having a cheat meal, item, day, weekend, holiday season, and you don't want that to be you. You don't want to lose the progress you've made. And it can happen rather quickly, right? Mm-hmm. It can. And so, part of the reason that I go in here and I put in my foods, like today, the taco salad, is an enormous treat. 9.4 total carbs. Oh, well, I say under 20 total, so I'm still just half of what could be the allowance if I wanted it. And so that's how I do my program. On the keto pizza day, I will also have higher total carbs too, because I'm still making the almond flour pizza, although I have greatly reduced the almond flour. And I've kept the cream cheese and the mozzarella cheese and the 2 jumbo eggs the same. And it hasn't taken away from the food. And I still had leftovers. So spreading out when I tap, 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 tap out the crust on Saturdays, it still looks the same. It still tastes the same. And I still have leftovers because I could have leftover keto pizza last night. I use the fathead pizza crust. It's in my head like it's the easiest thing in the world. And so it's almond flour, mozzarella cheese, and cream cheese. You can Google fathead pizza and it's right there. There's no other fancy ingredients, no salt, no baking soda, no baking powder. I've seen all of those. I'm happy for those of you that have the chicken crust, for those of you that have the cauliflower crust. But for now, I'm sticking with my oxalated almond flour, Mike. And it is definitely a keto food that has saved me. It just has. I have it once a week. Well, actually twice a week this week because there was leftovers, and it just keeps me sane, grounded, and knowing that I can keep doing this if I can have this. It's like how some people feel about, cream in their coffee, fat in their coffee, butter on their veggies. It's like, as long as I can keep doing this, then that will be okay for me. And it just works. I weigh tomorrow. It's my once a week weighing, but I take what I weighed last Thursday and carry it over. So today, my weight in my chronometer is 122.6. So hopefully I just stay in the range, stay in my lane, and continue to do what I do. I'm not telling you how to do your food program. If you have a question, I'll answer what my experience is, maybe give a suggestion on something that you might try. It's funny because people often, they try to pull it out of you, and it's like, I'm going to get this out of you. And it's like, I do what I do, and finding what works for you is your own personal keto plan. And there was Dr. Oz had a segment on the keto craze with Keto Karma and Stephanie Keto Person, Keto Connect, and is that it? Anyway, one of the things that he said, which was very, very interesting, and probably a lot of people didn't get it or hear it or like go, He said, this is an adult food plan. And for me, of course, it's a way of eating. It's what I hope to continue every single day for as long as I'm vertical. And and if I'm horizontal in a hospital bed, I hope I can be too. But he said, yeah, this is an adult food plan. And he's so right. You need to take your reins for your, little sled that you're on and take charge of your life and your food program. So if you're sitting there planning a treat, planning a dessert, getting to the salivate part, salivating over something that's in your future, just be careful and be aware. There are consequences. If you've been healing your gut and doing the keto way of eating, the keto lifestyle for a number of days, weeks, months, first of all, if you've only been doing it for like days or weeks, I would just caution you to just stay the course. There's no bite that you haven't had, especially if you've only been doing it days or weeks, okay? Days or weeks ago, you were having crap. So remember those feelings, and a lot of people do have the detox and the keto flu again. And if some of you had some rocky days with the keto flu, which to me means you just need more electrolytes, more salt, magnesium, and potassium. And I get that from mineral water as well as the salts that I use on my foods. But, you don't want to start all over again. And if you're going someplace or having some people come into your house for the days, more than one day, more than whatever, then you need to be aware that there are going to be temptations. I heard from somebody that is carnivore, and she said she had somebody come for a visit, and between the licks and the taste, she knew she was in a very dangerous neighborhood because the rest of the world doesn't eat like us, and it is a challenge. And for a carnivore person, it's the most challenging. And for keto people, you can still have things that taste good, feel good, work for you, and not get into those other places where it's just, is it really going to be worth it? Really, I can't, I know, because I used to do all the treats and the goodies and the whatever. Not since I started low carb, high fat to keto under 20 total. But back when I was like regulating my standard American diet, which means nothing, if any of you can identify, it just means, I'm going to have that treat over there that I haven't had for a while. But it doesn't mean that there's any sacrifice in my food plan. To have a keto lifestyle and to work on your issues, your healing of your gut, your healing of your body after so many years in the woods of standard American diet, where you can shake those trees and downfall, diet sodas and all the yucky diet breads and cereals and sugars and muffins from Dunkin' Donuts crap. You don't have to, you don't even have to like turn around to see something else carby between the ads and the franchises. For some people driving to work, they have to reroute just to get to work without seeing the drive-throughs that used to be their BFFs. And you can only do so much drive-through, bunless burgers. You got to, I'm sorry, I don't mean to say you gotta. All I'm saying is that you might need to learn your way around the kitchen, even in the most simplified versions. I knew my way around the kitchen in a complicated version, very complicated. A quarter of a teaspoon of this, half a teaspoon of that, 5 ounces of that. add this and go buy that ingredient for $9 that you need, one shake of. No, thank you. My foods now are very, very simple. They are very extremely savory, and I love them, and they are all identifiable. My grandmother would look at everything that I'm having and know what it is, from the cottage cheese to the lettuce to the tenderloin steak. She would say, I know what those are. And that's interesting. You're putting melted butter on your steak, and you're melting some ghee to put on your salad. Those things are interesting, but at least I recognize them and I've seen them before. And so that's how I roll. If you're a fruit person, having berries in season, which means that berries are now out of season, you will see them come in from other countries, so you can have your berries 24/7. But if you go back to, when we were hunters and gatherers, we only ate them when in season. And the only way that the hunter-gatherers knew they were in season, because there they were on that cute little bush. And so since I've lost my sugar cravings, I'm not craving any berries or fruits. I miss them on occasion, and that's a different thing. But I'm not craving them, and I'm not, pontificating about them so much to the point that I go and buy them and shove them in my mouth. It doesn't happen for me anymore. The more simple you have your food plan, the more contained are triggers and cravings. The triggers are what people might bring to your house for the holidays, what you might find if you go out to eat, if you have holiday parties, all of those sorts of things. Are they worth it? Only you can decide. But this is just my experience. They aren't worth it to me. It's never going to be worth it to me to step off my rails. The only time that I may have something that might not be tracked totally is I might have a larger portion of a prime rib. I might have a little more steak than I planned, and I go in and I fix it. I stick to what I eat, and sometimes it's just the portion distortion, or the portion is so darn good that I have to have more. But outside of that, I'm weighing and measuring just to keep everything honest, above board, tracked, and things like that. But I can fall to like last night I had 3 ounces of the chuck roast planned to have as part of my meal, and I ate half. And so that 1.5 ounces that I didn't eat is going to be added to 3.5 ounces today for the taco salad. And it's just what I do. And I know that yesterday, I had my leftover pizza, and I put 1/2 ounce of sliced mozzarella on the little bit of pizza. It's on a bread and butter plate. We're talking, it's not even the size of a piece of bread for this, if I put them all together with meat glue. That's a bad additive. And so I, and 1/2 ounce of that. And I went without that 3rd cup of coffee that I sometimes like. And usually it's decaf, but then sometimes on certain days I just need the and I'll have 3 cups of caffeinated coffee. I know. Can you imagine? Compared to the stuff that I used to eat and have and not think about and overeat and overconsume and shove in, 3 cups of coffee with caffeine is not my problem today. Do you know what I'm saying? But I gave up the 3rd cup because I was having that 1/2 ounce of mozzarella. So there is tiny little adjustments and sacrifices that I might make, but it's all for the good. But I'm not sacrificing, the entire OMAD just to have 2 dishes of Aunt Millie's something. I'm not. It sets up a compulsion in your head that I'm telling you, it won't go away. And you may find yourself lingering longer on visuals that are triggers. You may find yourself figuring, you start bartering with yourself. Okay, I won't have something, and I'll only have half, and okay, I'll make it through, and okay, January 2nd's the day. It's at such a slippery slope. And if it's your first year, it's not going to be easy. And so the best way is to remain as strict and disciplined as you can. If it's your second, third, fourth, fifth year of keto and you're getting bored and antsy and you think you can step out, have at it, because you are N equals 1 and you will know what consequences or things that happen. And then you can share them here with us. That's how we roll. We're human beings, and it's not a perfect world. It's messy and it's slippery with this season's worth of foods. Just be aware. Don't be unconscious, with that food coma thing. And if you happen to have to sit at a table where they have everything laid out still there, I'll tell you, I am Doug in King of Queens. I am staring at those items. So if you're like me, you need to get up and help in the kitchen. That's my advice for today. Get up and help in the kitchen. And that's going to be the title of this video. Be safe. Bye-bye.